Mahdi police.
The eye in the hand. And what is that? What is the eye in the hand? Let's see that again.
Protection.
Protection. What does that mean?
Protection from death.
Oh.
The Blessed Prophet sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam declared,
Inni la'undiru, I'm going to warn you about the Dajjal. وَمَا مِن نَبِيٍّ إِلَّا وَقَدْ أَنذَرَهُ قَوْمَهُ.
every prophet warned his people about the Antichrist, about Dajjal, the false Messiah.
وَلَكِنِّي سَأَقُولُ لَكُمْ فِيهِ قَوْلًا.
But I say to you something that none have said before me.
لَمْ يَقُلْهُ نَبِيٌّ لِقَوْمِهِ. No prophet said it before him.
The Antichrist sees with one eye,
إِنَّهُ أَعْوَى. He has one eye.
his left eye. He's blind in the right eye.
He has one eye. وَإِنَّ اللَّهَ لَيْسَ بِأَعْوَى. He doesn't have one eye, your God. This God has one eye. Why is there so much one-eye symbolism amongst these entertainers? Have you ever seen anybody when you take a picture and he says, hold on, hold on. I've never seen any normal person do that. Why do they do this? Because this is their religion. They worship the one-eyed God. Horus, he's called in Crowley's mythology. Why are they preparing our children for one-eyed characters? Why? Why? The minions. They're actually called the minions in this film. Why are they doing this? Why do they all do these one eyes? What's going on? Why are all their symbols with one eye? What's happening? And then the pyramid, because they believe in a pharaonic structure. They believe in an elite, and then everybody else, the masses that just follow them and do what they tell them.
There are three dominant aspects to this Dajjal system. The first aspect is Fir'aun. Fir'auna, Hamana, ujunuduhuma. Fir'aun, Haman, and his armies. The first aspect is Fir'aun. Fir'aun is the political system. The political system is the Freemasonic constitutional system of separation of religion, of any form of religion, in the acts and decisions of the state system. In other words, morality is literally thrown out and Machiavellian principles are implemented, the principles based on efficiency and the benefit of the ruling elite. No other considerations are taken. If it means killing a lot of people, it means killing a lot of people. Now, the first aspect, the political, embodied by the constitutional government, separation of religion and state, which is implemented now in the Muslim countries as well.
The Turkish nation is democratic by nature. I have no doubt that the American nation, which has gone so far in this ideal, is Turkey's friend in her aims.
Not later than May 16th next, a provisional Jewish government will commence to function in cooperation with the representatives of the United Nations then in Palestine.
The resolution of the DAC Committee for Palestine was adopted by 33 votes, 13 against, 10 abstentions.
thing to remember with the Masons and the Founding Fathers is that many of the Founding Fathers were deists.
So when you talk about the Founding Fathers, who believed in deism as opposed to theism?
Almost all of them.
Give me names.
George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Adams.
Deists believe that a supreme being created the universe, but that being is impersonal. It won't answer your prayers or even hear them.
There are a lot of people who say there is no proof, for example, that Thomas Jefferson was a Freemason.
That is true, but certainly a deist. Thomas Jefferson went so far as to take the Holy Bible and remove all of the references to anything miraculous, to the resurrection, to the virgin birth. Jefferson himself said that the idea of the virgin birth, Christ springing from a virgin, would one day seem as much like myth as the idea of Minerva springing from the head of Jupiter.
There is a painting in the Capitol.
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Well, it's a painting that I was shocked to find was there. I said there is a painting called The Apotheosis of Washington, apotheosis meaning the God-making of Washington.
George Washington becoming a god.
It seemed almost irreverential. It was like, how can a man become a god? But it really, to my eye, and to other historians' eye, catches this concept of the power of man.
Again, can you imagine anyone putting forth that notion of politicians as gods?
Right.
Here we are in the 21st century.
Well,
you'd be run out of town.
You'd be run out of town. There was a statue of George Washington that sat in the Capitol. He was unclothed. It was a model of a statue of Zeus. It was George Washington as a god.
Right.
And that did get run out of the Capitol building.
This is George Washington. In the last century, they decided they didn't have a decent statue of George, so instead of getting an American to produce one, they ordered it from Italy, from Florence. And when it arrived on the dockside, people were staggered, because here was George, the first president of the United States, depicted naked from the waist up with this cloth over his Bill Clinton's, and then pointing up one arm, pointing down the other. What's going on? Unless you realize where these people are coming from, it's inexplicable. Well, if you just hold that in your mind, arm up, arm down, naked from the waist up, and then Bill Clinton's covered in a piece of cloth, well, this is where it's coming from. This is the ancient depiction of the compilation of the negative force symbol that the Templars worshipped, or the high-level Templars worshipped anyway, called Baphomet. And this is why they depicted George Washington in that way.
The next thing is the economic control. This is an absolute control. The one eye that is watching everything has complete control. The next thing is the military, which is Junuduhuma, the armies of Fir'aun and Haman. They have to have an army. The United Nations, in the attempt to create a world army that will literally police people in the same way like Noam Chomsky has mentioned, it becomes like a mafia protection agency. If you're not paying up, then they send the mafia in to break some arms, break some legs. This is what they do, so that they have to create a world army that will begin to do these things.
Space age. That's the real father of space age. Okay, now this guy, who was at Cal Poly Tech, right? This guy, Jack Parsons, was openly a devil worshiper. He developed the fuel that enabled us to penetrate the stratosphere. Satellites could not have come about without this guy. In his diary that he himself wrote, he had a dream. This is 1948. He had a dream where he saw somebody that he calls Belial Dajjal. And he tells him, "You are helping me." Okay, I'm not making this up. You think I'm making this up? Wallahi, I'm not making this up. You go look it up yourself. Okay, so where's all this stuff coming from? Seriously, where's it all coming from? We're in the age of the Dajjal, you know. It's just Allahu A'lam when and where and what, but this is it, people. As far as I'm concerned, it's end game. You know, but the technology, if you study where all this technology comes from, okay, you know, read about the magic and the Enlightenment period. All these scientists were magicians. They were all into black magic. You read about Francis Bacon. I just read a biography of Francis Bacon called Knowledge is Power, Magic and the Creation of Modern Science. Francis Bacon was reading all these magical books. 2001: A Space Odyssey, Arthur C. Clarke. Arthur C. Clarke, great technologist. He actually has most of the patents that enabled the satellites, right? If you look at his interview with BBC in 1961, where he predicts the internet, he predicts the cell phones, he predicts texting. He said that by the year 2000, people are going to have handheld devices that enable them to talk to anybody anywhere, right? Arthur C. Clarke said, and he has 3 laws of technology. One of his laws is no technology reaches a level of complexity except it becomes indistinguishable from magic. So